Hello and welcome back to my channel. For those who the first time here, my name is Zach. I'm 21 years old, a Russian who left Russia half a year ago when Putin basically started a war against Ukraine. 21st of September was basically the second 24th of February when the war started, when Russia invaded Ukraine. And 21st of September for me, like comparing my emotional damage that I received, was basically the same, maybe even harder to realize this is the reality we are living in. 21st of September, Putin gave a speech, clown's speech as I called it in my recent video. He said that we are fighting neo-Nazis and the whole war machine of NATO in Ukraine, and I need the help of the Russian man, so this is why we're gonna call partial mobilization. When I was listening to Putin's speech 21st of September, it really reminded me of the speech of Joseph Goebbels, February 18, 1943. The speech that Putin gave about total mobilization really reminded me of this. But what's more important to understand that speech by Goebbels was given in 1943, basically the time when Germany was already not able to win the Second World War. And right now, Putin is calling this mobilization, and maybe you've heard about it, but mobilization in Russia was actually before called out only 2 times in the whole history of Russia. I mean, in the past couple of centuries. The first one was in 1914, when the First World War started. The second mobilization was called out in 1941, when Germany attacked USSR. And the third one was announced 21st of September 2022. I really hope that this mobilization won't lead to the Third World War, because previous 2 mobilizations were basically the results or the cause of the world wars. After the speech of Putin, there was a quick speech of the Ministry of Defense, Shoigu, and he said that we are going to mobilize 300,000 of men.
Можем говорить о конкретном количестве призванных резервистов?
Да, конечно. 300 тысяч резервистов, которые будут призваны.
Adding to this number, also Putin said that the only people who are going to be mobilized are those who already served in the Russian military. And I need to mention that almost all men in Russia, they have to serve in the military if they are aged from 18 to 27. The only options to kind of get away from this conscriptional service is to study in the university, as I did, or to have a baby, or to have some medical condition that doesn't allow you to be drafted in the conscriptional army. So Putin said the only people who have been to conscriptional army throughout many, like past, I believe, 40 years, including Soviet army, they are eligible for mobilization. But the people who are going to be drafted first are the people with military experience, like people from Chechen wars, from Syrian wars, I guess, and those who have a needed specializations. Sorry, like for example, if you are like a driver or a driver of a tank, like you are really needed in the army, so you're gonna be drafted first. The same day when Putin gave a speech, there was an order of Putin published on the Kremlin website.
The time has come. Execute Order 66.
And I was reading through this, and I was like, what? Because, you know, there are 10 articles about mobilization, about how it should be, like, provided, so to say. And you read articles like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, then 7 is empty. It says for the inner usage, for the governmental usage, and then it's 8, 9, 10. So I was like, what the hell? You know, because this is a public document. You're publishing a document and you literally hide a part of it and you say this is for inner usage. Why do you even include this into public document just to say this is for inner usage? And of course, everyone started to build all these conspiracy theories about what is this inner usage article. The next day after 21st of September, the press secretary of Putin, Dmitry Peskov, he was answering the questions of journalists, and he said that this 7th article is about the amount of the people who are gonna be mobilized. So it kind of doesn't like stick to the puzzle. At one time, Putin says it's gonna be partial mobilization, and the Ministry of Defense, after the Putin speech, says it's gonna be 300,000 of people, only with the experience, with the military experience, with the special mobilization, with the special specialties for the army, special specialties. Anyway, and then the actual order about the amount of the people who are gonna be mobilized is just hidden from a public eye. They just don't want to tell how many people are going to be mobilized. It is already obvious that they are going to mobilize at least 1 million of the people. I'm pretty sure about it. And here, for example, the speech of Girkin Strelkov, who is guilty for annexation of Crimea. He was a Minister of Defense of Donetsk People's Republic, and he was one of the guilty ones who shot down a plane, which was MH17. In 2014. So he said that we need to mobilize at least 1 million of the people to the front, and we need at least a couple of hundreds of thousands of people for the mass production of the cars, of the vehicles, of everything we need for the war.
Но направить до миллиона солдат на фронт и как минимум несколько сот тысяч человек на военное производство, на объекты транспорта, полагаю, для решительной и быстрой...
Looking at the amount of the people are being drafted already in these 7 days, and at all the kind of the people who are being drafted, it's just so obvious it is more than 300,000 of people. It is gonna be at least 1 million. And this is just crazy how all these subpoena papers are being given to every kind of man they are just able to find. The Ministry of Defense, they've published a picture that explained who are going to be drafted in the first order. There are 3 orders, and it says the first order who are going to be drafted are the lowest ranks in the army, basically up to sergeant, not more. And they said that the lowest ranks up to sergeant are not going to be drafted if they are elder than 35 years old. But there are so many cases, the lowest ranks in the army who were drafted at the age of like 55, 56, 59, there was like even 61. So they don't follow any of the rules that they have published, and they have said basically it's not a partial mobilization at all. This is a total mobilization. They are trying to get any kind of man that kind of falls for this subpoena paper and comes to the military office. And still in Russia, if you don't go to the military office, if you get the subpoena paper, you're not gonna be sent to jail eventually. You'll just get a fine, which is gonna be $50. But most of the people who fall for this, they have no education. They don't know their rights. They don't know what's gonna happen if they don't show up. The worst thing out of this whole mobilization is they mobilize special regions which are not gonna be protestive. They mobilize villages. Like there were cases when there are 200 people living in a village and they came and mobilized 50 of them. It's like 25% of village. And of course, half of the villages are women. So they mobilized 50% of all men over there, which is crazy. They mobilized the far eastern regions, like my region included. I'm from the Khabarovsk territory, and there were so many videos of mobilized from there. So they are mobilizing every poor regions which are not going to be so protestive. Of course, they could mobilize all those 300,000 of people in Moscow, but Moscow is gonna be like freaking out, and they're gonna be so protestive because if they gonna be mobilizing so many people from there. And we all know that all the revolutions are being started in the capitals of the countries. So they are doing actually a pretty rational thing for themselves. They are mobilizing the ones who are not going to be protestive at all, and the relatives of whom not going to be protestive at all. Those are different minorities of Russia, like Dagestan, Yakutia, Buryatia, all those minorities who are not going to be able to start a revolution in Russia. This is why Dagestan was so protestive, because they were going to mobilize so many people from there, just because this is a minority and nobody will be able to start a revolution from there because there are not so many Dagestani people. So Putin is like playing a poker game of his life. 24th of February he placed a bet, and that bet was Russia, and you know, he lost it. He didn't went all the bank, but right now he just gotta raise stakes to keep it alive, to keep himself alive. He's gonna just raising stakes. So I don't think that things are getting better in Russia in the couple of the next months. So if you're still watching from Russia and if you're a male, like, I recommend you, firstly, if you get this paper, don't go to the military office in any case scenario. Just they won't put you in jail, they just gonna fine you, or just try to hide. Don't live at the place where you registered, because Russians have to be registered where they are living, and like even if you don't own an apartment, just go to your babushka in a village and just hide in the underground storage. Yeah. Thank you so much for watching this video. Every day I have live streams updating you what happened in Russia that day, and I already live streamed for 7 days in a row. So if you're just interested to get more updates, like almost live updates, just check it out. Yeah, and see ya in the next videos. I hope this war will end, not soon, but will end. Bye.